It's Isaac Repentance, baby. How about that? Would you believe it? We still have so much to do, right? And dare I say, so much to see. We just did that cool Apollyon run, if I remember correctly. That sounds about right, dude. I gotta tell you, I love a good Tainted Keeper. At this point, I think the best thing we could do is show the seed temporarily, and then remind ourselves that whoop, all your money are belong to me. Dude, hold on. This is where you go, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Yes, go ahead. All your Coinbase are belong to us. Congratulations. Sorry, been the game shows. Game shows, baby. I would like the money, please, and some of this money as well. I don't think. I mean, like, I've played a decent amount of Tainted Keeper, honestly, but like, with any Tainted character, the strategy is still very much fluid, still evolving. Much like the wilds in Magic the Gathering, in the world of Ravenna. There we see. I know what I'm talking about. Well, here's you just pray it's a Yera. That's a Perthrow, even though they didn't say Perthrow. That's a Perthrow. But I think that early on, as Tainted Keeper, your goal, you definitely, the more money you can get, the better. Full stop. I'm gonna die. Don't even sweat this money, though. I know you're like, you just said the money's important. Nah, but it's like the robbers used to say back in, like, the 1920s. It's your money or your life. I chose to give some money up there. Early on, money's gonna be more precious than it will be later, quite honestly. We'll probably end up getting as much money as we could ever want by the end of this run, in all likelihood. What we want to do... Dang. Oh, I'm so stupid. I have nothing to say, except that I'm dumb. Okay, you just... Anyway, long story short, I don't know what the point is. The point is, right now, I guess I feel like money is a little bit more precious, and we're gonna get a little bit, our hands are gonna get dirty as we get in there. I forgot, item rooms are 15 cents too. Can I blow your frickin' mind? I'm being sincere here. Jack Bogle, words to live by. Instead of don't stand there, do something. Don't do something. Just stand there. That's what I'm doing right now, okay? We don't know what those items are. You charge 4 times. If we don't know what the items are, it's not like our money, goes further on the first floor than it does on the later floors. I'm not paying half of our wad, and I apologize for the phrasing, but I'm not spending half our nut. I'm not dropping 50% of a load. I'm not spending half of my net worth just to pick up a red question mark, okay? I refuse. There's lots of good items. People use it as an argument all the time. There's lots of good items that you could get there, but there's also, like, a lot of pure garbage. Okay, so we're just doing, like, straight up Dark Path or Light Path, with or without Mega Satan. That's it, probably with, right? Yeah, we have not done Mega Satan. Which, to me, means we should not take deals with the angel, or deals with the devil. We should try to finesse some deals with the angel, and then make Mega Satan work. I know you're like, this guy, this is like the new no-key meta. No item meta? If you weren't around for no-key meta, don't sweat it. It was a... I used to outsmart myself, let's say, in greedier mode. I thought that, like, never buying a key was the right idea, because 5 cents for an item you don't know is not worth as much as, spending 15 cents on an item that you could at least see in the shop, but we don't need to go down this road, okay? I will say, I think that's kind of a gimme. I will go back and I will probably buy that. 15 cents for glitter bombs. It's less that I think that the glitter bombs are, like, so unbelievably valuable, and, I mean, it's probably obvious, but much more that, like, 15 cents for 5 bombs and an effect attached to those bombs. It's not the kind of thing that's gonna, like, win you the run in all likelihood, but it is the kind of thing that, okay, see you later. It is the kind of thing that pays for itself pretty quickly. But we want to see everything that's going on this floor first, you know? At some point, we're gonna have to pick up an item. It will come to pass. This feels like a secret room to me. Technically, you should definitely, get the glitter bombs before you use the bombs like that, but it's the kind of stuff, you know, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I don't think it's going to impact too much. And I think this is a character for whom, and again, it's worth noting I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I think this is a character for whom you kind of get stronger in, like, feast and famine, you know? You might not pick up an item for a floor like we just did, and then a couple... Oh, I thought you would all drop money there. And then after that, you're going to find a floor where you're like, okay, absolutely we're going to go for this. For all of this. And I think, like, we just got there. So, this is the gimme. For the tiers upgrade. And then I definitely think we're totally fine with Luckfoot. I also think Smelter's great. And we'll smelt it up. I don't think we need to buy the other trinket, though. I'm not gonna go back for glitter bombs just yet. I mean, now that I think about it, I probably should. Can I tell you why? I mean, it's abundantly obvious, I'm sure, but there's no real reason not to, I guess, is the easiest way to explain it. We have enough money. We're not even gonna look at our deal with the devil, because we want to try to get that deal with the angel setup going. This could be a 4-room. That's the only other thing I was thinking of. I gotta go to bat, by the way. I was about to say I gotta go to bed. Well, true, we persist here. Let me caffeinate before I go off on this rant. I need to go to bed here because I think I was part of the culture that caused this problem in the first place. If you think that it's always zany to do like a 1 or a 6 room, I very much disagree. I will, at this point, murder you because we already have a spacebar item. I very much disagree. We're not even looking at it. That's right. We're not even looking at it. We're just taking PJs for no reason now that I think about it. Okay, down to the next floor. When you only have like a few items, walking into it's not that zany. It's, oh, okay. It's like making a substitution. Hey, can I get a Caesar salad instead of a garden salad? Like, it doesn't make a marked difference. The zane is when you reroll, you know, like a run... that's got a little bit more, I don't know, a je ne sais quoi, if you will. A run that's got everything under control. I'm getting roasted here. Because there's times where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do, like, the typical zany thing. I'm gonna try to actually, like, build something special. People, they'll hit you with, like, the most hurtful stuff that they don't even understand why they're saying it. They're like, you've changed. And I'm like, yeah, man. I hope so. It's been like 8 years. You know, like, the idea that you have to be zany on every single run. Look, I'm never going to be the guy that absolutely min-maxes 100%. But some of the idea of being zany and Isaac was like, hey, I don't have the skills either way to guarantee success. So how do I get myself, like, a reason for people to watch me on YouTube? I'll take it. It's very simple. I just take the items that other people won't and, you know, banter and hope for the best. Now, I'm like, dude, this game is tough. You really gotta, like... Even the best Isaac players in the world have had runs in Repentance that, you know, made their head want to explode, right? Now there's something unnoble, I think, about deliberately throwing a run in Repentance just so you can be like, oh man, look at that, I turned my good run into a bad run. Okay, money, please. Come on, come on, living for the money. Come on, please let me get money. Drops another luck upgrade, we love it. The zany thing now is clinging tight, and maybe you don't take this seriously, it is kind of a bit, I suppose. But the zany thing now for me is, hey, what if we're, like, so zany that we actually, like, try to win successfully? Wouldn't that be weird? Okay, Mr. Mega is like a no contest pickup right now. I think we love the bombs. We do also have the possibility, at least, of a deal with the angel coming up here. So I want to save a little money. I definitely think, you know, like, torn photo is really good. Might be a little wild to people that I took Mr. Mega before torn photo, but I stand by it, you know. 10 bombs. It might be... I was going to say I think it's my favorite bomb synergy, but obviously that's just a lie. It's good. Sad bombs, I mean, I think sad bombs maybe doesn't even necessarily... Okay, that was a great shot. Doesn't even necessarily tend to be better. It just sometimes can be so amazing that it makes up for all the times that it's just sort of there. I want the money here, but we also need to not get killed. So there's a lot of, you know, competing instincts. Oh man, losing that dime though. It's the thing on Tainted Keeper, as soon as you see the coin start to flash, it's already too late. We love an easy decision though. And not taking leprosy is one of the easiest decisions you could imagine. It's an item that, like, legitimately... I know exactly what it does, and what it does is almost nothing, so we'll ignore that. How am I doing? I'm feeling pretty good. Apparently, like, we're at the level where I feel like banter is at least plausible. So that's a start, but it is a Monday morning. This is, I mean, depending on your perspective, maybe like the first video of the week. Ay. Made a scheduling change this weekend and started to, I mean, actually treat the weekend like a weekend. For the first time in a long time. Like, again, there's no way you can say this without being like... the YouTuber is, like, complaining about how much he's worked. It must be... I work at the... I get it, right? Like, it's a cushy job. It's an easy job, but... My work-life balance has, like, always been kind of a struggle. And even though, like, the schedule that we came up with in January has been working out really well so far, but also, like, you know, my work-life balance now has different pressures than my work-life balance did in, you know, 2017 when I was not responsible for a young human life. So I started, you know... Hold on, let's take this real quick. I started thinking, I was like, you know, I think just, it's for the best to just take a real weekend, and I gotta tell you, I have not, it's not fair to say I haven't taken 2 days off in like a decade, because obviously there's been times pre-COVID where like I took a week off, and we like went somewhere, or even longer, so I think I've taken up to like 2 weeks off before, but, you know, the idea of having 2 weeks, or 2 days at the end of the week, it's, it's changed my existence. It's only been one weekend. I've only had one Sunday off, but still, I was like... I was talking to David about it, and I was like, it's crazy when you have one day off, it feels like that generates for you, like, a few hours of extra time. When you have 2 days off, it's not 2x. It's actually, like, 50x. I was saying, like, I think if you take 1 day off, if you have 1 day off a week, it feels like you have 8 hours of time. Obviously, I'm aware of the length of a calendar. It's 12 hours, and by calendar, I mean clock, and by 12 hours, I mean 24. Originally, I was going to misrepresent it as being 12, and then I said the other word wrong, and it ended up being this, that people are like, he's not pretending. I was pretending, I just did bad at the pretending part. Okay, we're still at 1 cent. You gotta be careful here, but that was actually incredible. We can always just blow up our donation machine. Yeah, there you go. Hate to do it because it's a little rude, but... I also didn't take Dead Sea Scrolls because it's Dead Sea Scrolls. Anyway, we're moving on here. But yeah, like, you know, if you work, let's just say... I thought for sure we would have seen one of those. If you work, like, you know, Sunday to Thursday, or Sunday to Friday, I should say, that one day that you have off ends up not really, and again, don't take this too much as complaining, but ends up not really being a day off. It's like a day for cleaning and errands and, all this stuff like that you couldn't get to throughout the week because you were working. Also known as, real life. So you get like X amount of time, but X is kind of a smaller number than the actual clock would let you know. You take 2 days off, you get like 6X. It's crazy. I watched 3 movies yesterday. I also, did chores and, we went grocery shopping. Had some family time, the good baby time as well. Like, it's crazy, man. But I know what people want to hear. They want to hear about the movies. What movies did you watch? I watched Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jake Lloyd, Rita Wilson, Phil Hartman, and Sinbad. Also with supporting roles from Martin Mull. That's all I got. That's as deep as I can go. I saw it when it came out, when I was of the right age to be watching that movie. And I was a snob back then. I was like, I think this movie's kind of bad. Watched it now. I know it's May. It's gonna be May, at least. Please, please. So, it's kind of a weird time to watch it, but either way, I found myself... I think my standards have dropped. As a 32-year-old, I feel like I actually have a better... Well, not better. I think I have an easier... I'm an easier critic than I was when I was 10. When I was 10, I was like, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. Now I'm like, ha ha ha, ha ta-ta Turbo Man, ha 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 ha, so true. I don't know if it's better or worse this way. You might take it as an intellectual regression. I take it as, how I learned to stop worrying and love the Hollywood magic. There is some hilarious stuff in that movie, like part of the climax of that movie, so if you're not familiar with it, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like a, he's not a deadbeat dad, he's a workaholic, and he, always puts his, the work in front of his family, and he was supposed to buy the hottest Christmas toy, the Turbo Man action figure with the turbo discs, several months ago, but he didn't, and now it's, like, impossible to get. He's driving through downtown Minneapolis, begging through text for the location of that last Turbo Man doll. But there's some stuff that is... Phil Hartman is hilarious in the movie, but there's some stuff that'll blow your mind. Like when he puts on the Turbo Man outfit and then his own wife and son don't recognize him. I apologize if you saw my tweet. This is like, I'm rehashing the tweet, but like... It's less that, like, the husband or the wife doesn't recognize him and the kid doesn't recognize him. It's much more about the fact that, like, how many... 7-time Mr. Olympia world record holder, competitive powerlifters and bodybuilders do you come across in Minneapolis, St. Paul, that also happen to have an Austrian accent, in 1997? You're like, really? You didn't know that? Everyone in the audience, even people that were unrelated, is like, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anyway. That was one movie. I mean, like, I watched, when I say I watched these, I mean, like, they were on while I was mostly doing other stuff, and I just sat down and watched the breathless climax. I also watched Coneheads, which is truly indefensible. It's actually stunning. Coneheads, by the way, is kind of, if you're not familiar, it's based on a Saturday Night Live sketch from the 1980s and 90s, which is basically, Dan Aykroyd, who is... Crystal Skull Vodka, but also, from the Ghostbusters and, lots of different stuff, not 48 Hours. What is, Trading Places. He I guess is the creative genius behind this, this sketch where basically some aliens crash land on Earth and they have really pointy heads and they talk in, like, hyper, objective conversations. I don't know why I even picked up supper there. So instead of being like, hey, can you pass, like, the peas? The whole, and this is the joke that is just permeated through the whole thing, right? Instead of saying something like people would say it, like, can you pass the P's? They'll be like, can you pass the verdant spheres? Maintain low tones? You know, it's, I would like that, thank you. It's, to put it politely, like a very thin premise for a film. It's a very thin premise for like a little sketch on a Saturday Night Live, which is maybe not the highest standards to begin with. I mean, those were sketches that were airing after the first musical performance, let's just put it that way. But then to make it into a movie is just such an unbelievable act of having no self-awareness. Like it's crazy. And then it also has, bizarrely, one of the most incredible casts that you could ever imagine. Now, admittedly, part of the reason it has an incredible cast is because a lot of the people from that era of SNL that were probably, like, contractually obligated to be in the movie are in the movie, obviously, but then went on to, like, incredible success in their own right. This is Necropolis 1. I will not pick that up yet. But sincerely, I'm not just talking about the fact that it has Chris Farley, you know, Adam Sandler, David Spade, Kevin Nealon, etc., but even, like, the main villain in the movie is played by Michael McKean, who is, like, you know, you may know him as Saul Goodman's brother from Better Call Saul, but, like, it actually is an unbelievable comic actor in his own right. Excuse me. Like, it's just crazy, the amount of talent. We have to buy it. The amount of talent that's going on in that movie. And then, like, it's just so unbelievably bad. The whole thing is just, it's literally just that joke over and over. And that's it. Oh, I didn't mean to walk into that, but whatever. We're so rich here. It's crazy to me, man. Like, if you've never seen it, the whole joke is basically that their heads are pointing. That's it, and it sustains an 87-minute runtime. And by sustains, I mean in a literal level, not in a effective level. But it also stars Jason Alexander, you know, George from Seinfeld. He plays a major supporting role in this movie, and you're just like, man, what was going on in, like, the 1990s, dude? How did you get this movie greenlit? It's so... a lot of the SNL movies from that era are bad or worse. Like, I don't like A Night at the Roxbury, even though I own it on DVD because I was 13 years old when it came out. But, like, that is on the better end of Saturday Night Live movies. And the premise is it's just, like, two guys who are not cool going out to nightclubs. That's the whole premise of the show. Also, bizarrely star-studded cast. Like, Dan Hedaya plays their dad, also known as one of the villains from the first Addams Family movie, but also known as one of the most pivotal characters from the Coen brothers' debut film, Blood Simple. Tears up, dude, would you look at that? By the way, like, we haven't talked about the run too much. I've been struggling to get the banter engines going, and I think we're finally getting there, so I'm letting it ride. This run is far from a win right now, considering that we want to fight Mega Satan, but it has a real chance. Oh, I bought a deal with the devil, didn't I? Yes, I bought Goathead. The irony. That in buying Goathead, I've probably screwed myself from being able to get to Mega Satan. Okay, well, look, that's stupid, but we can still do Dark Path or Light Path. But anyway, maybe we'll get lucky. I don't know. Wayne's World, also kind of an exception. Wayne's World's fine. Not great in my opinion, but fine. We're gonna die anyway. I don't know why I was stressing out about... oh no, we're gonna live, actually. We're gonna die? We're gonna live, we're gonna die? We're alive? We're dead? This tractor beam's driving me crazy, man. Yeah, so I guess what I would say is maybe, like, let's not worry so much... I bet that's, like, extra planetarium chance. Let's not worry so much about Mega Satan. Let's worry more about, literally just staying alive. But Coneheads has got to be like one of the worst. I'm not sure it's the worst, but it's got to be one of the worst. That's just terrible, man. Like it's pretty much indefensible. We do be healing. Oh, maybe it's whenever you go into a room that you... No, that's Mom's locket, right? Whenever you use a key, you have a chance to get a heart or something. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, really, really bad. I would recommend it. It's like joyless comedy. It's a remarkable watch. And then they go to like their alien planet of Remulac at the end of the movie, and there's like a weird fight scene where Dan Aykroyd uses his golf prowess to defeat the Garthok. Like, I know you're like... At first you were like, this guy sounds like he's doing a book report without having actually read the book. I promise you. I read the book. So I'm admittedly taking this. I don't think it's good, but I'm taking it for humor purposes, which means I cannot be judged. And we'll donate a bunch of money because, well, this is not the character who you want to donate a bunch of money with, but we're going to donate at least a little bit of money anyway. There you go. I'm content with that. It's a movie of staggering ineptitude. And then I also watched, and this is, I mean, and I do want to say, by the way, like, you're going to think I spent the whole weekend watching movies. You'd only be like 25% correct. But we watched Minari, an actual good movie on Saturday that I would highly recommend as well. Actually, like a beautiful movie. I don't just watch garbage. And in keeping with that, I watched this movie Stowaway, which came out at the end of April on Amazon Prime and Netflix. And it's always interesting to me. It's directed by Joe Pena, and I think I'm saying that, or maybe it's Pena. If so, I apologize. But he's perhaps better known as Mystery Guitar Man on YouTube. You know, he was one of the early YouTubers. Please, I need the money. One of the early, like, very successful YouTubers who kind of paved the way for people to be able to make a living doing this, which is really cool. And then also pivoted off of that into, like, a real filmmaking career. He made the movie that came out a few years ago called Arctic, starring Mads Mikkelsen, which I did not see. And I'm just gonna level with you because I heard it was not very good. Dude, we're buying out the stock here. No, we're not yet. No. Yeah, we have to. We very realistically could lose on this run. You gotta try. I will take a luck down to get a damage up. We really do not have much going on in the damage department. So let's take negative and try to make that path work as well. Okay. I'm disappointed because I think we could fight Mega Satan. Like, we had the power to, but maybe we'll find Dad's key at some point. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? So I thought, you know, I got some time that I can't believe I dodged that, man. I got some time I don't know what to do with. Let's watch Stowaway. Interesting movie about, like, a mission that's going to Mars to determine, you know, if you could grow algae there to culture oxygen and stuff like that. Only, like, there's somebody on board that shouldn't be there. And it's actually, like, it's a pretty cool premise. I think it's a thought-provoking premise. They take it in an interesting direction. And I apologize if you take this as, like, a spoiler. But I'm literally, like, not spoiling anything except maybe it'll change your expectations. Was having a good time watching the movie. I was like, you know what? I think that they did a great job. Love the cast. You know, Toni Collette, Anna Kendrick, Daniel Day Kim doing great work. I thought the movie was pretty good. I was like, you know what? I'm enjoying this as like a decent, introspective, melancholy sci-fi movie. If you give me this or Ad Astra, I know what I'm taking. I'm taking this, right? And then the ending. It was one of those endings where, like, you're watching the movie and you're like, and you expect it to go on for maybe like another 45 minutes, you're not disappearing. And then it says like, you know, directed by blah, and you're like, what? Really? Directed by Joe Penna? The movie's, but it's not over yet. Why would you put the credits up when it's not over? And I do also, like, in my own defense, I want to say, I have no problem with ambiguous endings in movies. Or even endings that don't neatly tie up the story. I don't mind when something's left in media res, and it's like it's your job as the viewer, your option as the viewer to fill in the blanks of what happened. But this is one of the only times, I think, in my entire life I've ever had an ending that almost ruined the entire movie for me. I don't know if I would recommend watching it. Like, I was enjoying the movie at like a 7 out of 10 level, and then when the ending happened, it took me to like a 3. And I don't know if that's fair. You know, I for the most part, I don't necessarily advocate, you know, judging a movie by the sum of its parts. But in this one case, I was like, now I get it. Now I understand. When people who don't like... I hate that, but when people who don't like No Country for Old Men are like, the ending kind of ruined it for me, and I'm like, you're a fool? Now I get it. Now I understand the way I can put myself in your shoes. Okay, by the way, we may die. Thank you. Thank you for not blowing up in my face. This run has the power. It has the know-how and the elbow grease to get us to our new land. We don't need to open that. Come on, man. You know what we're going for here. Don't get hit. This run is all about don't get hit. I want this run to not be... look, I'm not... I feel weird because it's kind of like they're a colleague, right? But I don't want to go off on Stowaway. I think it's actually like it's a pretty impressive film, but it definitely, for me, it kind of... You know those... I don't know. You're going to get me in trouble here, right? And not that anybody cares, but like... You know when people say, like, hey, they should make a movie that's based on, like, you know, a Would You Rather, like The Box, starring James Marsden and Cameron Diaz. That's kind of the vibe I got from Stowaway, is they came up with, like, a really cool, thought-provoking concept, and then, like, couldn't figure out how to end it. It felt like a YouTube video to me. It was like a Vsauce question answered, and then they were like, and then there's no story, it's just done after that. But I still, I don't know, it's just a weird, it's like I would recommend watching it, but I wouldn't anticipate that you're gonna like it. I certainly would not be like, oh, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. But, so yeah, you know, kind of the beautiful thing, I guess, about having, like, a couple of days off now instead of just one. Well, like, the really beautiful thing is being able to spend more time with my family without feeling, you know, like I have to cram absolutely everything into just please some money. Okay, I'm stupid. I say stepping on creep and dying. I mean, that's a worse ending than Stowaway, right? I can't live with myself if that happens. But yeah, so the real beauty is being able to, you know, be a better father and husband. But the secondary thing is I'm like, dude, the anecdote machine can get refilled. I can actually, like, you know, my whole life doesn't just have to be diapers, you know? I can actually go outside a little, even though we're not vaccinated yet. We can look into store windows from afar and be like, man, once we get our vaccine and wait 2 weeks, oh man, I'm gonna get so many cronuts. I'm gonna go nuts for cronuts, man. And I can actually, like, watch some pieces of media and interface with normal society. Again, this is very far from like a woe is me bit. Like, if anything, I acknowledge that I'm unbelievably blessed to be able to make the decision to spend a little bit more time with family. And people, like, nobody was negative about it when I tweeted about it at all. I expected it would be positive. No. But it was literally like 100% positive. we'll take... I don't think it does anything for us, but we'll definitely take this and lose our orbital to get something. Empty Vessel I don't think is going to do anything for us either. This is a whole run of just like... I just want to see, we have the negative, right? Yeah. It's just a whole run where we have like no killer app, let's put it that way. There's an app for that. But yeah, anyway, so like basically this is a really roundabout way of saying thank you for giving me the space to watch Coneheads and waste my free time in the way that I deem most appropriate. I appreciate it. Anyway. I also feel like a less burnt out streamer is going to be a better streamer. But we'll see. That's a theory we gotta put to the test. It's how it works in principle, in my head, in theory. But in reality, you never know. Maybe you gotta stay in the muck to be able to, you know, to be able to build the bits. I have been hit badly. I hate this run, dude. I'm going offline, guys. Okay, but at least we got to a reasonable conclusion. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I feel bad on this run, but I'm also like, I don't feel bad. I thought we actually played pretty well and never got super off the ground. We had a lot of good stuff, but never really put it all together. But for now, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. See ya!